and welcome to the Computer Science Department here at Rutgers. This is just going to be a general overview of what we usually talk about during our computer science tours, as well as most of our events here with the Computer Science Department. So my name is Jamie. I currently work as the Senior Program Coordinator here at the Computer Science Department, where my job is essentially to be a liaison between the department and all of our students. I am basically the middleman, ensuring that both sides are happy and also all of our students are succeeding and getting all the resources that they need from the department in of itself. So we're going to break this up into 3 different parts. The first is what is computer science. Second is giving you an overview of the computer science department here at Rutgers. And then lastly, getting an overview of the actual curriculum here at Rutgers. So for starters, I just want to clarify with everyone that computer science is not programming. This is something that I really wish that someone had told me explicitly, repeatedly, when I was a student, because I frankly didn't really fully understand that until actually a year ago, which is actually when I just joined Rutgers and started doing more computer science oriented, communications. And so with that, what is computer science then? I really put it as computer science is more so problem solving, and we just happen to be using our computers as the medium because it's just the easiest way to do it. But you can apply all of your algorithms, your data structures, how you put things together and piece your resources together. You can apply it to more than just computers. You can apply it to your work team. You can apply it to how you manage your friends sometimes. And there's a lot of different options. So just know you're not constricted to just computers. And this is what I actually got from Wikipedia. So Wikipedia mentions that these are the 3 main pillars of computer science. First, you have your theoreticals, such as your data structures, algorithms. In the middle, you have your software engineering, which is more of your applied computer science. Think like your AI, machine learning, your computer graphics, etc. And then you have your computer systems on the far right, which is more computer architecture and organization. How does your computer actually work? Now, Wikipedia does go further into describing each of these in a little bit more detail. I'm not going to go into it today. I would highly recommend, let me just bump my screen, going to Wikipedia and then finding all of these fields, and you can find more information about these. However, the one thing I want to highlight here is the fact that software engineering is all the way at the bottom. Now, a lot of students, including myself, when I was doing my computer science degree, I thought that with a computer science degree, you had to be a software engineer, which is definitely not true. And again, that's something I wish someone had told me because I do not like programming at all. And I just want to clarify for students, you can do a lot of different things because essentially with a computer science degree, you are a problem solver and you can apply these theories, these applications to any sort of field or industry that you want. So just know you're not pigeonholed into software engineering. All right, so that is computer science in a nutshell. So now let's talk about Rutgers specific things, and specifically the computer science department at Rutgers first. First and foremost, our goal here is to make all of our students lifelong learners, starting from the fundamentals, all of the enduring principles. As you might guess, especially if your parents are software engineers or were in the past, likely the things that they had learned in school are very, very different from what you are learning or have learned thus far. Just looking at the programming languages is the biggest showcase of that. And so what we want to do is teach all of our students more of the left side of what I mentioned before with the 3 pillars. So we want to teach you more of the data structures and the algorithms, because that necessarily will not change. It's more so the implementation or the applied portion that will likely change in the next few years. And so that is what your degree here at Rutgers will set you up to do. To give you a little bit more of like a physical, kind of like geographical idea of where the computer science department is. So starting on the left side, we're located in the School of Arts and Sciences. You may see it written as SAS. Some other common schools that we have here at Rutgers, New Brunswick is, for example, School of Engineering, School of Business, School of Environmental and Biological Sciences, and many more. Now, in terms of where we are physically, on the right side where you see the map, we are located on Bush Campus. Now, Bush Campus is more so the headquarters for a lot of our faculty offices, as well as a lot of our student resources. And so if you ever need to come to a professor for, say, office hours, or your TAs as well, you will likely be meeting them on Bush Campus. So just be aware of that as well. Now, other common questions that I get from a lot of parents and students are, where do I live and where are my classes? So, so Rutgers as a whole is actually pretty large in that we can't have all of our computer science classes dedicated to one campus, aka Bush. And so because of that, we actually have our computer science campuses we have our computer science classes on the other campuses, such as Bush, Livingston, and College Ave are the most common. I do not believe we have any on Cook Douglas. So that is where your classes might be. Now, where you live as well is also not designated to a certain campus based on major. It is wherever you want to live. Now, granted, most students may end up choosing Bush to dorm because that is where a lot of the STEM courses are. So it's really up to you and the type of vibe that you want to go for. If you haven't visited each of the campuses, highly would recommend doing so. Next is an overview of the Computer Science Department. So we are now the largest major in the School of Arts and Sciences, which is the largest school at Rutgers University in New Brunswick. And in terms of our faculty, we have about 51 full-time faculty staff members teaching and lecturing at all times. To kind of give you an example of our funnel and what that looks like. So last year, fall of 2023, we had around 1,400 students enrolled in just Intro to Computer Science. So that kind of gives you a scale of how many students are entering the Computer Science department, which is very, very large. Now, granted, with 1,400 students, don't worry, that's not all just one lecture. That is broken up into about 5 or 6 lectures with about 200 to 300 students. And that is what you typically might encounter for any of our introductory classes in any of the other departments as well. Granted, not that many, but in terms of lectures, you do expect 200, 300, which I'll go into more detail later. Next, going down further into the funnel of students. So next we have our 2,100 declared undergraduate majors at all times. And again, that usually happens around your sophomore year. So your second year spring semester is usually when most students end up declaring their major. So that kind of shows you the middle of the funnel. And then the end of the funnel, this past May, we graduated around 800 or so majors from computer science. So that kind of gives you an overview of what the size of the department is looking like here at Rutgers University, which might be very different from a smaller school that you may be more used to. So just be mindful of the amount of students that are coming. Next are the student programs and communities. So we have here spec.cs.rutgers.edu. Highly would recommend writing that down or taking a picture of this URL because it contains a lot of important and key information when it comes to any sort of student programs within computer science or any of our communities. So SPEC stands for, as you see on the left-hand side, spaces, programs, events, and clubs. So to talk through them really quickly, with spaces, we have the Cave and Hackerspace, which are located on Bush campus, which is where a lot of our computer science resources are. This is basically the headquarters for our computer science undergraduate students, as well as any students who are just generally interested in meeting other students as well. We treat the Cave and Hackerspace as the third place for our students on campus, aka your first place is your home, second place is where you go to work or if you're a student at school, and then third place is just a way, an environment to hang out with your friends, meet new people. There's not a lot of pressure to be a certain person or act a certain way. It's just a place for everyone just to kind of hang out and interact with each other. So that's kind of what Cave is. Additionally, we also have technical resources, club events that happen there as well as tutoring. So that is a great place. Highly would recommend checking it out. Second is programs. So we also list out all of the opportunities that we have here with the computer science department. As I mentioned before, our tutoring programs, any sort of advising, and other miscellaneous things that pop up once in a while. Next, going into events. We have the department hosted events or any of our student flagship events or clubs hosted events we'll add onto there. So just occasionally check to see what's up and coming. And then last thing that we have here are the clubs. So these are just general information about the computer science clubs, as well as their contact information if you're interested in either joining or getting involved or seeing what they're doing, honestly. Next, we have our computer science lecture styles. So we have 2 types of lectures. First is the lecture itself. It's pretty typical to what you would likely see and or know of as a lecture. It's usually taught by a professor with a larger lecture hall of about 100 to 300 students with either a blackboard or a projector. The second type is a recitation. So that is a little bit more hands-on, like problem set learning that is taught by an upperclassman undergraduate student or a graduate TA, where you're essentially reviewing the material that you learned in lecture the past week. This is a lot smaller, ranging from 15 to 40 students, depending on the class level. For example, even though our Intro to Computer Science lectures are 200 to 300 students, which is huge, the way that we combat that to make the class just a little bit smaller and get everyone the hands-on experience and like attention that they need from our instructors is by having 15 students in the recitation, and that is the cap. And so with that, you have an hour basically dedicated to a group session where you were doing hands-on learning and you're interacting with an upperclassman who was likely through the middle and or towards the tail end of the major, so they can help you kind of guide you through the class in of itself as well as the major. And then similar to lecture, it just really depends on the lecture and classroom, depending on what you have, from blackboards, whiteboards to projectors. Next, a common question that we get from parents and students is the internship. And so just due to the size of the student body compared to the department, I just want to clarify at the very bottom that we actually do not do any sort of internship matching. I'm aware that some universities do. Just be aware that Rutgers does not do that for you. However, I do want to mention that we do have multiple resources to provide you with the resources, the opportunities, and the networking, both in the computer science department and at Rutgers University as a whole. So specifically talking about computer science department, we have a bunch of workshops that we are creating, and for all of our students to listen to professionals talk about their career, interact with them, learn the tips and advice you need to like beef up your resume or your LinkedIn, for example. So that's with the department. And then similarly, all of our student clubs do something very similar as well, where they invite companies to come to campus who are specifically recruiting university students for either their internships or new graduate roles, as well as doing general, again, like workshops or career development events as well. So that is within the computer science department. On the other side, we also have our career services department here at Rutgers, who does all of that as well. That is a little bit more generalized to not just computer science students, but students in general. And so they're also a wonderful resource that you can leverage here while you are a student here at Rutgers. So there's a lot of opportunity, which again, but we do not do any sort of matching. So that is computer science department in a nutshell here at Rutgers. So now let's go over the general curriculum of what to expect when you are here at Rutgers. So before I start, I just want to make sure everyone is understanding of these numbers, because you will see this in not just computer science, but pretty much any course or department that you come across here at Rutgers. So for the first two numbers, the 0, 1, that pertains to the school code. So SAS, School of Arts and Sciences, our school code is 0, 1. So for example, School of Engineering, School of Business has different codes. Anytime you see 0, 1, that is SAS, School of Arts and Sciences. Sometimes you might not see it written. So for example, the 198, the second line, that means we're just lazy and we're not going to append it to the front. So just be aware that if there is no school code, it's assumed to be School of Arts and Sciences, because again, it is the largest school within Rutgers. All right, so the next three set of numbers, the 198, that pertains to the computer science department. It also means the general department code. So computer science specifically is 198. So anytime you see a 01 colon 198 or just a 198 colon, that is pertaining to a class within the computer science department here at Rutgers. Okay? Then the last three numbers, the 111, that pertains to the actual course code. So for computer science department specifically, our 111 pertains to our introduction to computer science. Another example is our data structures is 112. And so that is just more so how you differentiate. You just do unfortunately have to start getting used to hearing numbers, because that is how we discuss and identify courses just because it's a little bit too long to say Introduction to Computer Science every single time. All right, so with that in mind, so now let's go over what it means to be admitted into the computer science major. So there are no applications, there is no bar, because as you know, Rutgers is a public university. We want computer science to be accessible to anyone. However, to be admitted into the computer science major, you must have completed these 5 courses with a C or better. And so at the top, you have your Intro to Computer Science. As we mentioned slightly before, you have your 112, which is data structures. 205 is your Intro to Discrete Structures 1, and then you need Calculus 1 and Calculus 2. And then once you have all 5 of those completed with a C or better, you can officially declare as a computer science major. Now I want to clarify with some parents and some students have been confused when they apply into Rutgers. You declare that you're intended to major in computer science. So that simply tells the School of Arts and Sciences, SAS advisors, that, hey, I should sign you up for example, 111, because you want to be a computer science major, and then eventually declare as a major as well. And so for your first semester of your first year, we're going to put you into Intro to Computer Science. So that is when you apply into Rutgers and then intend to be a computer science major. Now, the second part is this part that I'm talking about with this slide, is once you are a Rutgers student, you then must have these 5 courses completed and then be declared as a computer science major within the department. Main reasons for wanting to declare is a lot of the upper level electives are only open to computer science majors, and also we have certain news that are sent out through the major email link, I believe, and so you just want to ensure that you are in contact and have those communications. All right, so moving on to the 2 different bachelor degrees in computer science. We have our first one is the Bachelor of Arts, second is the Bachelor of Science. So starting off with the Bachelor of Arts, we have 6 required computer science courses, 3 required math courses, and 5 elective courses. To give you a sense of what these numbers mean at the top, so starting with the required computer science courses, we have CS 111, which is Intro to Computer Science, CS 112 is Data Structures, CS 205 is Intro to Discrete 1, 206 is Intro to Discrete 2, CS 211 is Computer Architecture, and CS 344 is Algorithms. And then next you have your math requirements, which is Calculus 1, Calculus 2, and Linear Algebra, and then your selection of the 5 elective computer science courses. And then that is the entire Bachelor of Arts. So on the flip side, the Bachelor of Science is essentially the same thing. You have your same required computer science courses, same required math courses. The main difference is you have the 7 elective computer science electives. You have 7 computer science electives instead of 5, and then you also have to complete a physics or a chemistry track. Now, a big question that I get from a lot of parents and students is, what is the difference between the 2? There really is no difference, at least on paper. However, I will say most of our students do end up doing the Bachelor of Science degree. Now, it might really make a difference for you depending on what you want to do. So for example, if you want to do a double major, if you are double majoring in something that is STEM related, it might make sense just to do the BS because you may already be fulfilling the math requirements and or the physics chemistry requirement. However, if you want to do a double major in something that is non-STEM related, like for example business, you may want to go for the BA because that's just less courses, less time invested into the double major in of itself. If you want to go into grad school for computer science, you also want to go for the BS. And then similarly, if you want to go into a more technical role, such as the NSA, etc., you also want to go for the BS. All right, so moving on to the graduation requirements. So these are the 3 requirements that you must have to graduate from Rutgers University. Starting at the left side, you have the SAS core curriculum, which is basically Rutgers' version of our general humanities courses, just to kind of give our students a little bit more exposure to different fields and industries outside of just computer science or whatever major they want to do. Next is completing either the BA or the BS in computer science. And then lastly, you need 120 credits to round out your entire degree. The one note to throw into here is with a computer science degree at Rutgers, you do not need a minor. Other majors may need a minor, but computer science specifically does not, because we are a credit, aka like a course number, intensive major. And so I believe the major in of itself is somewhere around the 70 credit range. So just be mindful of that even though you have the SAS core and also you finish your degree, you will still have a few extra credits that you need to take in order to hit the 120. So just be mindful of that. So these are our electives at Rutgers University for computer science. Highly would recommend checking out our website for a full list of electives that you have access to. I want to highlight the 3 specifically down at the bottom. First is your independent study. So that is essentially doing research under a professor for credit. The second is that we do offer certain courses in other departments that can count towards the major. So just be mindful that you can have one course count towards the computer science and or your math, stats, psych degrees or majors, etc. The last is if you are in good standings, you can also take graduate courses in computer science with a professor as well. So these are just options that I want you to be aware that you have as well. Next, we have our elective tracks. I want to throw a huge disclaimer out here that these are only optional. These are not official, and they will not show up anywhere in your transcript. These are just simply suggestions that the department has to our students. So at the top, just for example, computer security, if you're interested in doing computer security, we do have a certain subset of courses and electives that we would recommend students to take if they're interested in learning more topics about that or pursuing a career in computer security. And so this is just our way to help our students navigate our list of electives more than anything. And again, this will not show up anywhere. This is not official. These are just suggestions from the department. And you do not have to follow these tracks either. When I was a senior, that's when I found out that these existed, and I wish I'd found out about them earlier, but here we are. All right, so next let's go into the miscellaneous curriculum information. This is a double major page. This is more so if you want to do another major alongside computer science. Again, it is not required by any student, but these are just options that you have. Some of our common double majors from students are engineering and computer science, math, business, and cognitive science, and computer science. Now, it only really matters if you are doing you're doing a double major inside another school that is more specialized. For example, the School of Engineering, School of Business, and you want to pursue a major in there. And so, as the first bullet point says, you must get accepted as well as you must get admitted and accept your entry into those specialized schools. Pursue a degree in that school, for example, the School of Engineering, School of Business, and then declare a double major in computer science. It is potentially impossible to do the other way around, where you accept your admittance into the School of Arts and Sciences and then want to declare as for example, like a computer engineering major. I do not believe the School of Engineering will allow you to do so unless you are in the School of Engineering. And so I've been telling all parents and all students, if you are remotely interested in doing a double major in any of these specialized schools and you get in, highly recommend accepting that admittance first into the School of Engineering or Business, and then see later on, maybe the end of your first year or even your second year, to see if you want to continue pursuing that. Because then you can swap into the School of Arts and Sciences, which is more of like the general school here at Rutgers. But if you wanted to do the flip side, where you end up accepting School of Arts and Sciences and then want to do a computer engineering degree, you then have to apply into the School of Engineering. So just be aware that there is a little bit of complexity here. Highly would recommend talking to an advisor, either in the School of Arts and Sciences or in the respective schools of, for example, School of Engineering or School of Business. Next is the minor in computer science. So I just want people to be aware that we do have this as an option. You just need 6 computer science courses from a select list, with 2 of them being higher level electives, and you can find the full list of available courses on our website. So this is the computer science honors program. I just want folks to be aware that this exists. If you want to go above and beyond your actual degree and go for either research or taking extra graduate courses, these are options for you as well. Again, highly recommend checking it out more on the website. All right, the last page that we have here is for computer science related AP credit scores. I am recording this as of July 25th of 2024. Be aware that some of these might change. Highly would recommend going to the School of Arts and Sciences page for the complete up-to-date information. Be aware that this information on the slide deck might not be correct, so make sure you go and check it out. So for starters, these are the computer science requirements. Everything that is highlighted in yellow, those are the courses that you can AP out of. So just to start with computer science and math, so at the top left, you can do Computer Science A. Computer Science A, you must have a 5 to get credit for Intro to Computer Science. If you get a 4, it gives you credit to a computer science course, yes. However, it is not used inside the major or the minor. It essentially just gives you 3 credits towards a course that you can just use towards graduation. Similar for if you do computer science principles, you only get credit towards that course, that it does not count towards the major or the minor, but basically counts towards your graduation. On the right side, you have your calculuses. So calculus AB, if you get a 5, you get credit for calculus 1, which is the STEM version, which I believe all engineering majors do need, so just be mindful. If you get a 4, you do get still calculus 1 credit. However, that is the non-STEM version of calculus 1. For computer science specifically, for calculus 1 only, you can get credit for either one, so you can get a 5 or a 4, and it will count towards your Calc 1 requirement. However, greatly, if you take Calculus BC and you get a 4 or a 5, it actually gives you credit for both Calculuses 1 and 2, as well as the Calculus 2 that all computer science majors must have, which is the STEM version of it. However, if you get a 3 or below, just refer to the AB subscore that you get and just match it up to what the course will be relevant to here at Rutgers. Next is chemistry. If you get a 4 on the chemistry exam, that partially satisfies the requirement. You would just need an additional semester for, I believe, Gen Chemistry 2. However, thankfully, if you get a 5 on the exam, you fulfill the entire BS science requirement, and so then you are done with the chemistry or physics track. However, if chemistry is not your thing, you're taking physics. Physics is a little more complicated. It has 4 required courses, which 2 of them are labs, thankfully. So you have your Gen Physics 1 and the respective lab, and Gen Physics 2 and the respective lab. Now, for the actual AP exams, you can take either one. So Physics 1 or Physics C for mechanics will fulfill the first part of those 4 required courses, and then Physics 2 or Physics C and M will satisfy the second 2 courses for Gen Physics 2, for example. And so you basically just need to choose one of the courses at the top and one of the courses at the bottom and get a 4 or a 5, and then if you complete both of them, you will have completed the entire physics track as well. Alright, so that is the entire presentation. I hope you all learned something, and if you have additional questions, please do reach out to our advising team, where it's ug-advising@cs.rutgers.edu, and you can check out all of our socials. We're on most social media pages, and we share all of our content as well as what the students are generally up to. And we hope to see you soon. Thanks for joining in.